So welcome to Tapping for the Holidays. This is a program that I run every holiday season, every December lately, because we are stressed and frantic, and it helps to have some tools at our fingertips. Haha, terrible joke. So we're going to combine our traditional yoga practice. So it's going to be a very typical yoga fit kind of flowing practice with tapping or emotional freedom technique. I will get you to dive in just to feel what it feels like before we do it as part of a practice. We'll just go through our various tapping points so you know what it's going to look like. So we tap at the top of the head a few times, up to 10, something like that, a breath in and out. The space between the eyebrows. The outside of the eye. Breathing fully. On the cheekbone, just under the eye, more to the outsides of the face. Under the nose, one or both hands. Breath in and out, relax our neck and shoulders. On the chin. And then right under the collarbone, but here at Yoga Fit, we talk about the value of cross body stimulation, so we can actually cross our wrists. This one I kind of just pretend I'm doing because it's right beside my microphone. So feel free to like really get in there and create some vibration. I'm going to go a little bit more quiet just because you don't want to hear that kind of thumping. Then we do under the arm. This is a traditional one, sort of along the bra line, just under the underarm. And I like to add, and you may appreciate this for the holiday season, on your right side, so right upper quadrant of our abdominals. I'm mirroring you now. This is our liver point. This is our anger point. So I like to throw this in to release. Maybe we're feeling a little angry about the holiday season. And in case I forget to say so later, across our collarbones and down the length of each arm is our grief point. I think these are common holiday emotions. Worry, grief, anxiety lives in the collarbones, and anger lives in our liver. Those are our traditional tapping points up top. And then sometimes I like to add the bone that sticks out the front of the pelvis in there. You can do it underneath the table, like if you're sitting and you're very nervous and you want to be a bit more discreet. People will also do the side of the thigh. And then we usually actually start with our karate chop point and then don't come back to it. It's just how we do our traditional setup. Okay, so you've done a full round of our tapping points. You know what it feels like now. Keeping in mind, taking care of our own injuries or whatever else is going on in our bodies. A lot of my work is with breast cancer survivors, so we accommodate range of motion overhead. This may be an issue for you or maybe not so much. But as with everything we do, keep in mind, go at your own pace, take what you like, leave what you don't. We will do a traditional round of tapping. We do an opening statement. I will say a phrase. You repeat me in your own time. You can say it in your mind or out loud. I've been using this one lately because at this time of year, or maybe as the winter drags on, we do not feel like working out. So seated or standing, we will tap our karate chop point. So this is our traditional setup for tapping. We make our opening statement. We say, even though, and then we voice our difficulty. So during the holiday season, maybe it's, even though I don't really feel like working out today. And then you repeat, even though I don't really feel like working out today. I'm going to get moving. So whatever I say, you can tap, you can listen, you can repeat after me. Even though I would rather stay under the covers, I'm going to get up and move. Even though I have so many things on my to-do list, I've carved out this time for myself. And we go through our tapping points again from the top of the head. We'll tap and talk. I do not feel like getting off the couch. I feel like eating cookies all day. I am stressed about everything I have to do. And I just don't wanna. I know it's good for me, but I have so much on my plate. But starting now, I'm going to get moving. I know I will feel better when I'm done. I'm breathing fully and I'm getting going. And the point on our hip bones is supposed to shift our energy so we can take soft fists to the front of our hips. Not a traditional technique. This is just what I have added. I'm going to let in a couple latecomers. I'll try to keep an eye on it, but otherwise know that we always send out the recording if you don't make it in time to one of these. All right. Often after we do a round of tapping, people like to sometimes rub on their sternum to help process that. Sometimes some yawning, some sighing, or the eyes will water. We might have some sort of physiological response. Let that bubble up. If you've never done tapping before, now you know. Feel free to change any of the words at any time. All right. So if you were really excited to get going, you could save that as practice for a day when you don't feel like it. Now it's in your mind. Or you can change the words to say, I really want to get going. Okay. So very, very malleable for what you like. This is why I love teaching tapping online. Everybody can be saying something different. Let's come into our standing or sitting mountain pose. Tall spine. Option to close our eyes here. We're checking in with how we're doing. Just like our traditional opening meditation, but we've done something to shift our energy before beginning. Scanning our bodies head to toe. Maybe inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Seeing what's going on in our inner landscape. And every time we come to our mats, we have an opportunity to practice letting go of competition, judgment, and expectation. Especially in the holiday season, we can let go of the need to do more. Giving ourselves a little reminder, we can modify any of our practices or techniques today. And we may have an intention that we would like to set for our time together. I would do this maybe a little differently in an in-person class, but yogi's choice, repeating your intention silently in your mind as we always do, or we can tap on our karate chop point, repeating our intention out loud 1 to 3 times. Often that tapping becomes a conditioned response. We breathe more fully, our bodies start to relax. Just like we put on our favorite song, we know we're going to feel good. We start our tap. We're starting fresh. Let's move to our traditional yoga fit warm-up. From mountain pose, circle sweeping our arms, reaching tall, as though our arms can grow longer, drawing shoulder blades down as we're stretching fingertips up. As though we can grow taller, pressing down into our feet, crown of the head reaches up. Let's do one more up and out, bringing hands to heart center, tuning into our heart space here, noticing if we feel anything is weighing on our hearts or our emotions at this moment, and we can take special care of ourselves today. Let's turn to face the wide edge of our mat. We are ready for our sunflowers and moonflowers. So if you know this one, go ahead and dive in. We may have our own favorite variation. If we've never done this before, we are bending elbows and knees together, feeling strong, and then stretching up into sort of a letter X. Our big toes are pointed roughly towards the top corners of our mats. Sort of like we're taking an elevator straight up and down. If we like our sunflowers variation, a bit more like a deadlift, we are hinging our butts back as we are shifting our straight spines forward. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Energizing with a full inhale, and with our exhale, drawing our abdominal muscles into our core. Pulling energy from core center. I'll give us one more option here. Because we're doing so much arm work with our tapping today, maybe we want to do an alternating side lunge or skandasana instead. Toes may point a little bit more forward. We bend one knee at a time, sometimes called broken chair. So we sort of have our chair pose in one leg and our like warrior two in the other leg, and we're alternating sides, not doing so much of a big reach here. We can bring hands to prayer and then out to T. So some of the feedback or criticism I've been given about tapping is it's just a lot on the upper body to keep tapping and moving as we go. So at any point today, if our arms are feeling like they've had more than enough, we can bring hands back to heart. All right, whatever we're doing, let's do maybe one more on each side. I'll let in this last person. And then we're coming back up and out into our 5-pointed star. Big breath in, hands to heart, and let's step to the top of the mat. Flowing chair. We know this one, right? We're sitting back and down into an invisible chair, and then we're standing tall. Let's add some upper body arms forward to counterweight as we sit down and back, and let's do a strong pull in. Often I feel like as much as we love the holiday season, it's draining to our power. So let's do some powerful arms here. Elbows back, strong fists. We are tapping into our own power. Okay, last one here. We're going to come to stand tall. And let's move through our cat and cow from sort of a quarter squat position. So we're doing a standing cat and cow with our thighs for support. We're tucking our chins, rounding our backs for standing cat, and then lengthening our hamstrings and our bellies for standing cow. So this is, again, another way to conserve our arms. Maybe you've been doing, I don't know, a lot of chopping and baking and that kind of thing, and we just don't want to put weight on our wrists, or it's just a convenient way to limber up our spines while we're staying standing. Let's go once more each way. Coming into neutral and back up to our standing position. All right, let's do a little bit of flight of the bird, but we'll add tapping to our yoga pose. So if we haven't done flight of the bird before, it's an alternating lunge rear. Hop in when we're ready. Could be like a short stance like our Tai Chi warrior one, or a long warrior one or lunge position. We can add our cactus arms, opening up as we're stepping back. All right, let's pick one side, doesn't matter which. We'll come back into our warrior one stance, and we're going to take our karate chop points together, saying out loud or in our minds, I am stoking my inner fire. I am stoking my inner fire. So we're combining our tapping with kind of a chakra affirmation here, right? I am ready to build heat. All right, let's open our flight of the bird arms. We'll go for 3 here. Big breath in, 3, 2, and this last one brings us up to the top. We got to switch to the other side, don't we? All right, we are open. Maybe you like your own words for this one. Tapping our karate chops together, holding our warrior one. We can again say, I am stoking my inner fire. I am releasing what no longer serves me. I am building strength from the inside out. All right, let's fan the flames with our arms, cactus arms open, 3 rounds of breath. This last one brings us up to our mats. Beautiful. Let's make our way into our sun salutations. We are ready to build our fire, create heat. We're ready for strength. Stepping back with our right foot into our kneeling lunge. And remembering we can modify any way we like. If we're not familiar with sun salutations, feel free to follow me. Otherwise, we have our own favorites at home. Go for it. Making way into our yogi push-up from child's, we are inhaling forward, exhaling, lowering down through a strong push-up, elbows to ribs, and then lots of strength in our backs, just like cow pose as we're lifting into cobra. Draw from core center, up and back into child's or down dog, and then we're taking our right foot forward into a kneeling lunge. Any favorite variation of lunge here for a full breath in, tall spine, stepping forward into forward fold. Reversing our swan dive up and then taking a seat down and back into chair. Let's repeat on the other side and then I'll add a little variation. So it's our left leg back, kneeling lunge or not. And then we're stepping back to down dog or child's. Always the option to just rest and hang out in a comfortable position, or we can work on our strength, moving through our yogi push-up and our back extension. From down dog or child's, we're on the left side, taking left foot between our hands. Whatever variation of lunge we choose, strong and grounded, right? Forward into forward fold. Bending our knees to accommodate comfort and strength. Reversing our swan dive, sitting down and back into chair. I'll give us the option to add a twist this time through. We can start again with our kneeling lunge. Taking our right foot back. Dropping our right knee down. And then we're turning our hearts towards our front knee. Big breath in. Stepping back into down dog or child's, option to rest or flow through our yogi push-up here. So I'm throwing a twist in because one thing that tapping does is help us to gain a new perspective. We're on the right foot again, right foot stepping forward. So that by turning and twisting, we are physically seeing things from a different angle, which can help us to mentally and emotionally see things from a different angle. Stepping forward into forward fold, reversing our swan dive. We've got one more set of sun salutations. Swan diving down, let's take our left foot back. This time we can keep our knee up, and if we're feeling open through our twist, we can take right fingertips to sky, pressing down through our left hand, lengthening from our spines out to the full end of our reach. Stepping back, down dog or child's, yogi's choice. We know we have that opportunity for rest. When I was first practicing yoga, I had a teacher who said, it's the sign of an advanced practitioner to know when to rest. So that may be our most advanced practice for the day, choosing to rest in a busy season. Okay, left foot forward, taking our hearts to our front knee, working in both directions, pushing down to help us lift up. Forward fold. Reversing our swan dive, we're sitting down and back into chair. We'll do one last little flow here to warm up our spines. Let's alternate our lateral flexion. Up and over, lengthening one side of the spine, down into chair, and then the other side, alternating here. So I hope we're getting some heat going in this cold season. I hope we're feeling lighter and brighter, even though it is sometimes a dark and heavy season. Okay, let's go once more each way, remembering we can always pause to grab a drink or do anything else we need to do. Sitting down and back into chair. Let's come into balancing chair here. We'll warm up our ankles first to test. Lifting one heel at a time. We can keep lifting one at a time or draw both heels up together, strong through our inner thighs. Hands can be to our thighs or reaching forward to counterbalance ourselves. We're holding 3, 2, 1. Let's lower down. Let's reset. 3 rounds of breath here. All right, coming into our swan dive, and we'll make our way back to down dog or child's again. Again, another opportunity to rest or flow. We can build fire. We can choose maybe child's with the arms wrapped in behind. Having a moment to pause for ourselves. And let's come into our warrior series here. So we'll go ahead and lift the right leg to the sky to create some space. Drawing right foot between our hands. And then we are opening into our warrior 2. So I'm going to go ahead and mirror you for today. I'll do my best with our right and left. Let's see how we do. All right, so we're going to bend and straighten. Warming up our warrior 2. We're pressing down into the outer edge of our flat foot, of our back foot. And then our front foot, we're drawing up through those inner arches as well. All right, let's lower and hold into our warrior 2. And I want to give us the opportunity, if we have to voice any anxieties or angers about the season. So if there's something that's really been weighing on our minds, this might be a great opportunity to tap on that anger point, the right upper quadrant of our abdominals. Let it out. I am not looking forward to blank, and you fill in the blank. I am really not looking forward to, and you fill in the blank. One more time. I'm definitely not looking forward to. And then let's flow and let it go. Front arm to front thigh, stretching long into side angle. So we're a nice straight line here. And then we add our lateral flexion like we just did with chair, reversing our warrior, full breath in. Let's go 2 more like that. Last lateral flexion. And to switch sides, we'll come through center. Let's turn all 10 toes forward, a wide-legged forward fold. Let's actually start with our thumbs up. We'll add our chest expansion back. This may be our favorite variation of this. We're talking about a different perspective. Might feel good to really squeeze the upper back, draw those thumbs back, do some movements of the head and neck to loosen it up. We can stay here. We can interlace or airplane our wings back. Again, asking for a fresh perspective, let's take our view of the world upside down. A wide-legged forward fold. And we know we could have blocks under our hands. We could reach for the floor. We could have hands to our legs for support. Or we can maintain this strong punching movement, reaching movement in our arms for our chest expansion. And then let's all release our arms. We'll make our way to the opposite side and we'll go through that same warrior sequence again. So our left leg is now our front leg. We're going to climb up tall into warrior 2. Bending and straightening our front leg. Warming up our inner thighs, warming up the inner arches of our feet. Sometimes that sneaky back foot starts to peel up. Press down. We'll lower into our warrior 2. Option to hold warrior 2. Some people get great benefit out of simply listening to me. That's fantastic. Go for it. We have the option to tap on our right side again for our anchor point, or maybe we're going onto the opposite side to focus on something different, just the left underarm to release. And maybe we're saying to ourselves here, this too shall pass. You fill in the emotion for yourself. I am feeling a lot of, and this too shall pass. When I'm looking forward to the holiday season, I am feeling, and this too shall pass. I am grateful for the good. And I'm just noticing the bad. All right, let's come into our warrior two to kind of cleanse the palate. We get moving. Side angle reaching long. And then our lateral flexion on an inhale. Let's flow. 2 more of those. Coming back into our warrior two shape, and then turning all 10 toes to face towards the long edge of the mat. Let's do our chest expansion one more time. Thumbs up, giving ourselves a little encouragement. We hitchhike them back. Squeeze those shoulder blades towards one another to increase the sensation. Take a look up and down. We can swallow. We can wing the arms back or we can interlace. We may stay standing or we may like our fresh perspective in our wide-legged forward fold. Option to release our hands down. We can bend the knees as much as we need to, or even take the feet a little bit wider to get down there. Let's do a single side bent knee. So we're coming back into this Skandasana or side lunge position. Maybe noticing it in our inner thighs. We can go ahead and take it the other way. We're drawing back through center. And let's go ahead and walk our hands to the top of the mat. We're stepping back and resetting. You know how it goes. Once more, yogi's choice. We rest or flow. Let's take it to the left side first this time. And we may actually, before I forget, we may want our blocks for triangle. So from three-legged dog, lifting our left, stepping our left foot between our hands. And then we're opening up and out into warrior two, pausing here, just feeling stillness. Drawing back through the right shoulder, so that we stay square as we are gazing to look off the left hand. And this time, instead of shifting our legs, we'll shift our upper body front and back, creating movement through the torso. Prepping for triangle, let's straighten the front leg and we keep shifting front and back. Making our way into triangle, let's shift all the way forward and taking our hand wherever it falls, to still feel lifted without feeling deflated. Pressing down through the left hand, rolling open, and again, reaching up through the right. So triangle is a practice of opposites, pressing down as we're reaching up. You know, the holiday season is a bit of a practice of opposites too. We take the joy, and there is a whole lot of work as well. Let's reverse our triangle. So we can use an exhale, think side plank in our abs. Breathe out to come up, and then we are reversing our triangle here. We may like to add a tricep stretch. Left arm bends in behind the head. Maybe right hand holds our left tricep. This is our variation of cow face standing or standing tricep stretch. Let's take one more breath in. And our next exhale can take us down to the mat. Walking to the long edge of the mat, again, for our wide-legged forward fold. I'm not going to stick my butt to you. And maybe this time in our wide-legged forward fold, we're walking our hands forward, shifting back into a wide-legged downward dog. We can even flow this one a little bit here, like a wide-legged plank, wide-legged down dog. We're particularly tight through the outside of the ankles or IT bands or shoulders. This wide-legged down dog flow variation can sometimes be a nice option. All right, we're on the opposite side now. So we're walking towards our right foot as our front leg, growing up into warrior two. How are we doing? Okay, good. We are surfing our torso front and back. And often we say this one represents in our warrior two, we're not surfing into the future or hanging out in the past. We are centered in the present moment. Maybe we can think about this as it relates to our own holiday season cognition. We can go ahead and straighten the front leg. We keep surfing, reminding ourselves to come into the present. We can use our breath, our grounding techniques. Any of our five senses can bring us into the here and now. Triangle pose. Let's stretch and make our way down to our favorite expression for today. Many opposite movements in this. So I'm pressing arm into leg, leg into arm or block or floor. Pressing down, reaching up. Finding strength, but also finding ease. Right? Not working too hard, not too little, just right. We'll use our next exhale, think side plank in the left side of our abs to come up to our reverse triangle. If we like our tricep stretch, bending our right arm in behind. Let's take one more steady round of breath here. One last time, our option for a wide-legged forward fold. And we may have a favorite variation of wide-legged forward fold as we walk ourselves to the long edge of the mat. Maybe we're taking arms forward. Maybe we're adding our little side lunge or walking our hands side to side or taking a bit of a twist. So let's hang out here. Another few rounds of breath in our wide-legged forward fold. We know we always have the option, if we're drinking at any point, stay hydrated. We have less of a sense of whether or not we're dehydrated in the winter. Often a lot easier to tell in the summer if we're dehydrated. So in the winter, put on a pot of tea, keep on sipping. Okay, when we are ready, we can make our way back. Down dog or child's, rest or flow. Another point to reset. Let's throw in a third eye moment. So often we rest our forehead on a block in child's. We can do that if we have a block handy. If we don't have anything, that's fine. But before we do, we can do a little bit of tapping. And maybe we want to do hero's pose, getting a multitasking stretch for the bottom of our feet. Taking fingertips to our third eye. Now, usually, conventionally, people do one hand on each, sort of like where the end of the eyebrow is on the inside. We can tap there, or if we want to go more yoga style, one hand on the center of the forehead, we can do that. And let's ask for something that we would like to be revealed to us. So this is our intuition, our sight without seeing. We could say to ourselves, this holiday season, I would like to know, and you fill in the blank. We could say, I am asking for wisdom in this area of my life. And you can fill in the blank. Or I just wish I could understand. And then pausing for a moment in child's, either using our block or fists stacked under our third eye. We can imagine that we are planting a seed and it will grow and the answers will be revealed. And one more time, we will come up to standing. Let's do some balance work. So we can walk forward into forward fold. Might be nice to rest belly on our thighs a little longer than usual. We were down in child's for a little bit, so might take us some extra time to get up to standing. And then when we're there, we can roll our shoulders out. Slide them down and back. And sometimes what comes up with tapping as well is not even anything that makes any sense. So we might do a little round of tapping and go, ugh. So if you feel like you need to do a shake or something that your childhood self would have done, let it out. Let that feeling pass. I don't know what it is for you at home, but don't be shy. We're coming into our balance pose here. And I think the holiday season is a balancing act, isn't it? Let's begin with these same arms that we did in child's, reaching forward and then drawing back. We can make strong fists. We're going to move into warrior three. So we don't usually make strong fists in warrior three. This could be a flat hand instead. Starfishing our fingers. And this next one, let's squeeze all the way back, broad across our chests, as we tip forward like a drinking bird into warrior three, picking our favorite side. Which one feels like the natural side to go to today? And there's an idea we can work with that if we do our good side first, then we kind of lay the foundation or the blueprint for our second best side to be great when we get there. One more breath here, strong and steady. Returning to standing and reset in mountain. Give it a few flows. Inhale forward, exhale back, fists or starfish hands. All right, drawing back. Warrior three, ready to go. And we may topple out. That is okay. The important lesson there is to reset and come back in. Our brains remember the last thing that we did. So if the last thing you did was fall out and give up, guess what your brain is remembering and getting better at? We don't want that. All right, we want to train ourselves to remember to try again. One more round of breath here. On your own time, on your own terms, we are returning back to the earth. Let's circle sweep the arms. Hands to heart. And we are making our way down. Swan diving down. Let's come into another kneeling lunge here. So we can take the right or left back. Again, maybe we have a favorite side that just feels natural to go to. And then our favorite variation of a kneeling lunge. So I'm thinking usually when I lead these self-care Saturdays, people have done yoga before. Maybe you haven't done yoga before. Our legs are in a split position. We're staying comfortable on the back knee, which may mean getting off it, or we can fold our mat under our knee for more support. Feeling some value here, I hope, lengthening through the front of one hip flexor. And to switch sides, we can come into down dog or child's and step the opposite foot through. So at this time of year, we may be spending lots of time seated or cold, like a smushed kind of position, so we can get quite tight through here. So I want to give us another opportunity to loosen up. Making our way back to child's or any similar resting pose to reset. And let's lower all the way down onto our bellies. We'll do one more here. I'm thinking cold season, shrugging our shoulders, rounding forward. Let's come into bow or single leg bow. So I'll lead us through single leg bow. If anybody is a fan of bow, reaching back, holding both ankles. If we're doing single leg bow, let's take our right forearm in front, propping ourselves up. Sweeping left arm around to our left ankle. Sometimes our armpit kind of gets stuck on itself or our leg gets stuck on the mat. Might need to adjust them a little bit. Flexing our foot. Again, this idea of opposite intentions. The intention of kicking back with the leg and resisting with the arm is what gives it that little oomph. We may be moving a little with the breath, noticing that flow. And between sides, when we're ready to release, we can lower down into sleeping crocodile. We can shift our hips or windshield wipe legs side to side to release the low back. And we are ready for the other side, propping ourselves up on the left, reaching back with the right. And sometimes maybe we've had one too many Christmas cookies. We don't want to lie on our stomachs, or for any other reason. If we're not lying on our stomachs today, we could be doing a side lying bow instead. Let's listen into our low backs or any other body parts that are speaking loudly as we unwind from this position. And thinking about where we want to go from here. So some of us may like to press up into cobra again, or come back into child's or cat pose, maybe halfway between child's and cat to loosen up the low back. Taking a moment here to reset, give ourselves what we need. And then we will make our way into a seated position. How are we doing? Okay, we will do more of a traditional looking tap. Let me pull up my script. Oh yes, and I should say, if you go on YouTube, it is very easy to find a tapping program to follow along with. And often what I coach my clients with is to do tapping often enough that we have it when we need it. And we have this idea, my partner in crime came up with this idea of, can we give our clients something where they can just, at a holiday event, or if they're at the mall or anywhere, they can just run into the bathroom and do 1 minute of tapping. Breathe, tap, be. This was her idea. Breathe, tap, be. Something just really quick that we can get off our chests. Another little mnemonic, I guess we can call it, is ABTs. Always be tapping, if that's easy to remember. And if there are thoughts on our mind kind of swimming around, just add tapping. Don't think, just tap. Always be tapping, breathe, tap, be, whatever words make sense for you. So I'm thinking, yeah, let's go through a traditional tapping script. I'm going to follow along. on my phone. I'm just following a script. And we'll spend a little extra focus on our collarbones. This one is focused on anxiety, grief, and worry. So let's tap the outside of our hand, our karate chop point, and I'll let you do your own emotional intelligence. Right now, I am feeling, and you fill in the blank. I just feel so, fill in the blank. Fill in the blank at any time, change my words at any time. What if this feeling never stops? Okay, we're going to the top of the head. This is so strong right now. I feel it gripping in my body part. And it makes me want to I feel like I could, some kind of action. What if I can't calm down? I don't know how to let this go. This anxious energy is stuck in my body. But right now, I'm open to feeling differently. I am open to the idea of feeling differently. What would I need to believe to let this go? What value is this emotion providing? I can keep the good and release the bad. This too shall pass. I am safe. I have the power to choose. Let's spend a little bit longer here thinking about grief. Things aren't as I wish they could be. And we may like to think about this cross-body movement underneath the collarbones, rewiring our nervous system or whatever claims people make. See how it feels for you. I wish things could be different. If I had a magic wand, I would. But I can't. I can perceive things the way they are. In reality, in the present moment, I am safe. I choose to let go of this feeling. I trust myself to handle this moment. All right, we may have a favorite tapping point or a favorite affirmation that we want to come back to. So I'll give you just some free speaking time. Say whatever feels like a good release here in your mind or out loud. And let's come back to our third eye. this holiday season, I am really looking forward to. So we're not bypassing any of our emotions. We're acknowledging and looking forward. We take the good with the bad. Okay, let's go ahead and release our arms. We might need to give our arms a little break. Again, we may have some physiological response. We want to do some kind of noise or some kind of movement. Often it's quite calming just to gently take the eyes side to side, not really pushing our range of motion, but to get them moving, kind of like if you were walking down the street and just sort of scanning, oh, look at that tree over there. And there's a squirrel. Like just let the eyes scan back and forth. Breathe fully and come back into our center. And let's digest what we've just done. So we'll start with twisting. We know twisting stimulates physical digestion with the idea that it helps us to mentally, emotionally digest our ideas. Maybe we're cooling down. Let's move with a bit of flow here, as we often do. Inhaling up, exhaling, turning to twist. And I'll give us a tapping point for digestion. So it's on your left arm. About a third of the way up the arm is an acupressure point. Sometimes they'll say take all your fingers, and then where the last finger is, your thumb goes there. And we can draw circles. It's acupressure. This is what tapping is based on, acupressure points. So if you have any familiarity with acupressure points, go ahead and tap on any of the ones that have a meaning that you would like to be working with. This is for digestion. This spot, so we can be doing circles or gentle taps on this spot, whether we want to be acupressure focused or tapping focused. See how it works for you. I came across this when I was doing a project on yoga for cancer care. And this spot apparently works very well for nausea as a result of cancer treatments. And although I've never had cancer treatments, thankfully, I have had nausea. And I was blown away the first time I used this with how amazingly well it worked. It was like the feeling just left me. So I hope the same for you. If you eat too much at Christmas dinner or whatever holiday season you are celebrating, right up the forearm, we can circle, we can press, we can tap. You may also get a lot of bang for your buck, a drop of lemon essential oil on the center of your solar plexus, or sniffing ginger, chewing some fennel seeds. I know digestion is an issue at this season, right? So we can feel disgusted because of our thoughts and our stress, or maybe we feel that we've eaten too much and we're full, whatever. Any of these tips for digestion work on the physical and the mental, emotional level. How are we doing? Perfect. We have just enough time to wind it right down. Let's breathe, tap, be, always be tapping. We'll do a full round of breath with each tapping point. Top of the head, breath in and out. We may like to exhale from the mouth. Inside of the eyebrows, full round of breath. We could do a pursed lip exhale. Really cooling down and releasing. So I hope I've been repetitive enough that you have something that you feel well versed at to take with you, and had enough variety that you can see different ways to be using this. And you may be going, of course, the same speed as me or differently, right? We all breathe at different speeds. We will finish with a supine meditation. Very brief. Feel free to stay down there as long as you like. When I edit this for the replay, I will add more music to stretch it out a little bit longer. But if we're ready to make our way down, layering up however we need to do so. And as we always do, taking a moment here, yogi's choice, right? We live in a world of free will. I want to practice that control in a season that maybe feels out of control. What kind of pose do we need here? Sleeping butterfly, happy baby, figure four. Throw in anything remaining that you think you need. We can layer up, we can drink. We did a lot of sitting, we did a lot of talking, so maybe a bridge pose or a long stretch to loosen up through the front line of the body. To check back in with our throat chakra, we could swallow here. And then as we are ready to come into stillness, coming into stillness, noticing the hum of energy in the body that we've created. Tuning into that sensation. And I will stay seated to guide us through our final relaxation. No need to go anywhere or do anything. We will finish here as you are on the floor in our final relaxation. Checking in with how we're feeling at the tips of our toes. Listening to any signals that might be coming up from the body. Using this time to observe and acknowledge while knowing that we don't have to do anything. We are human beings, not human doings, as the saying goes. If we have some lingering kind of fidgety energy, we may like to do just some gentle tapping on the side of the thighs, really the only easily accessible spot when we're supine. Moving our awareness through the lower body, tuning in, acknowledging, knowing that we don't have to take any action. As we move up into our torso, this is often where we feel a lot of our emotions. Noticing how this practice sat with you emotionally. Did it feel like a good fit? Does it need some more tweaking? Just letting that land in our minds. Again, no need to go anywhere, do anything. No pressure. Only breath, sensation, and this moment. Drawing awareness through the upper body, the arms. Seeing if our breath is slowing down, becoming more gentle. Is the hum of energy in our bodies winding down as well? As we're bringing the awareness up to our faces, can we relax any unnecessary tension in our faces? We can draw a gentle smile to our lips. Noticing the whole body as a single unit. We can bring our minds back to our intention, Choosing instead a moment of quiet, repeating it silently, inwardly. We will leave it here for today. No need to move, but we may like to cross our arms, give ourselves a big hug. Thank you so much for choosing to spend this time here with me today. I hope your holiday season is full of cheerfulness, bright lights, and lots of fun. From my light to yours, namaste.